I hired an agent who touted her high-level connections, only to watch her do absolutely nothing for a year. But the real irony happened the week I finally fired her, when she blindly snared my biggest rival. Up until that point, I had spent years as a self-represented commercial photographer. I was booking solid work on my own, but I wanted to move into the kind of high-budget campaigns that usually require a gatekeeper. I signed with an agent who had a truly impressive roster. During our meetings, she promised to place my work directly in front of the global creative directors I'd been chasing for years. It's easy to fall for the roster illusion. This is the assumption that getting your name listed next to an agent's heavy hitters means your career will automatically rise with the tide. Entrusting your entire business to a legacy firm feels like reaching the finish line. In reality, that surrender of control is often exactly when your professional growth hits a ceiling. The initial high of signing quickly faded into a very quiet reality. Days turned into weeks, and then into a deafening silence. Over an entire 12-month period, she brought me exactly 2 project briefs. To make matters worse, both of those offers were financially insulting. They fell well below the standard day rate I had already established while working independently. Whenever I followed up, I was met with vague corporate speak about market conditions and developing relationships. She used language designed to manage my expectations, rather than actually do the work of pitching. When an expert spends more energy drafting excuses than executing strategy, their prestige stops working for you. They become a dead weight. I decided to stop waiting by the phone. I kept hustling on my own, but this time I started rigorously tracking every single piece of self-generated outreach I executed. This chart compares lead volume side by side. My independent leads on the right are towering over the near-empty output from my agent on the left. As this chart shifts to track project value, my independent rates completely overshadow the 2 meager briefs she found. The numbers told a very clear story. The person meant to scale my business was actually suppressing it. Industry reputation can be intimidating, but hard data cuts right through it. Relying on empirical evidence is the only reliable way to snap out of the paralysis a bad contract puts you in. While still legally bound to that inactive contract, I spent 2 months quietly taking meetings with a different agency. They operated with a smaller roster. Their talent head reached out directly, understanding my specific niche perfectly. With a clear exit strategy in place, I formally terminated my original contract. I invoked the agreement's non-performance clause, a move made completely straightforward by my 12 months of documented inactivity. She accepted the termination politely, almost too politely. I suspect she knew her total lack of effort left her without an argument. Professional loyalty is a trap when it only flows one way. When the data proves a relationship is one-sided, you have to pivot mercilessly. 1 week after I walked away, my old agent made a cheerful announcement on social media. She had signed a photographer I had considered a direct competitor for years. From the outside, it looked like a major industry win for my rival. But knowing the reality of that agency, it was a tragedy. They were simply sliding into the empty, inactive slot I had just vacated. I didn't dwell on it. The very next day, I officially signed the paperwork with the new Agile agency. This graph tracks the immediate difference. You can clearly see the near-zero flatline of my entire first year, compared to a massive spike by tier. Within 3 months, I secured more confirmed bookings than in the previous 12. When representation functions correctly, it acts as an active multiplier for your own momentum. When it fails, it operates as a suffocating void. I still keep an eye on that rival photographer's output. From what I can observe, they are firmly stuck in the exact same paralysis I managed to escape. The creative industry is split between 2 types of gatekeepers. There are those who collect names to pad out their own prestige, and there are those who actively build careers. You don't need a year to figure out which one you're dealing with. The difference becomes undeniably obvious within the first 6 months of performance. Has someone ever represented you, professionally or otherwise, and failed to deliver on what they promised? Let me know what happened in the comments, and be sure to subscribe. Because at the end of the day, professional representation holds absolutely zero value if it doesn't aggressively represent you.